Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is me, Mr. Carman, and today we're going to be talking about Flash, the Flash fan series, Season 3, Episode 5, Year 1. So this is Season 3, Episode 5 of the Crimson Productions Flash series. I have a lot to say. Before we get into it though, if you haven't already signed up for FanFilm Fest 2024, the sign-up closes on May 12th. So fill out the form. It's in the description of all these videos. May 12th, I think, is tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. So you guys need to sign up now. Get your sign-ups in, fill out the form, and fill it out. Crimson Productions currently has a panel for it. Also, I don't know if they're interested in having the first episode of Season 3 shown, but if they do, they can just comment that below because we are looking to fill up some more time. So they could also show that, so yeah. And if you want any fan films to be reviewed on the channel, you can fill out Fan Film Finder. It is a short form, and I will review that fan film eventually. Besides that, let's jump into the video. Alrighty, so I have mixed feelings about this episode because I really want to say it's my favorite out of this season, but I also want to say it's like decent compared. I will say first, this is the most Flash episode out of all of these. This entire episode is Flash-centric. We get very little side characters, which is good, but it also is giving me heavy Season 2 vibes. And I think that's the only reason why this is not my favorite episode thus far. Because it gives me the vibes of Season 1 and 2 when they were acting with themselves. When Liam was like acting with different versions of himself. And it just didn't work as well for me. And I think the camera work in this season has been very good. And I think in this episode in general was really taking us back to the earlier seasons. So it makes sense that we're getting some of the weaker stuff, but especially coming off of how great the cinematography was in episode 4, and even 3 I think was very solid. I just feel that this episode did a lot of stuff that was very, like, it gave me heavy Season 2 vibes with a lot of the criticisms. It had a scene of Liam just talking to himself, which for me personally, I've said many times, I just don't love. And when they're bouncing off of a Reverse Flash version of himself as well as a old version of himself from 2020, it just doesn't work. Like, it works, but it takes you back to the old vibes. And even the way that it's shot, so much of the Seasons 1 and 2 were shot in that one yard with himself in those, like, with the middle shots and stuff. It was just like medium shots, I mean. I liked it. I just didn't love it. Like, those were the parts that were getting me because it felt like it was dropping in the quality that I loved so much from this season. But there were so many parts that I actually loved. First, I loved the Flashness. He was very incredible throughout it. I love seeing Liam on screen as the Flash. Moving forward, I think what it really was like a very strong first half and a very strong ending and like a decent middle half. Part of my favorite part of this episode is two things. One is the fact that it does such a good job tying up all of this stuff from this season. I think in episode 1, some of the weak stuff was the stuff that was answered in this episode with all the 2020 stuff. In episode 3, we had that cliffhanger ending that was finally answered here. In episode 4, we had the scene of him coming back. So this was really the episode where everything got tied in. And I've never really seen a fan show ever do something like this. Even the Flash TV show really has never done anything like this. Like, this was a really bold move to have a 5-episode thing finally tying everything together. And it's very good that they did that. My one criticism with it, though, is the fact that it has been a long time in between episodes 1 and 5. Like, if it was 4 weeks, it would be very different. But it's been 2 months. So it does add a little bit of a thing. But my second thing that I loved about this episode is I was thinking a few days ago, kind of like, have I really ever seen a fan series that can really do, like, the back episodes? Like, when it's, like, really, like, when you get to finale, whenever they do the series finale of this. And eventually when Season 3 ends, I'll just say this now, I'm going to talk about, hopefully season 3 ends next week. I don't think it's going to. I'm going to assume that season 3 is going to end most likely in late May. When it does end, I'm very excited to see that. Most likely once it ends, they're going to release something for Captain America. Then I'll finally talk about it. I'll say I'm very excited for this. I don't know much about it yet, but I'm very excited to see it. But I'm probably going to talk about it. My prediction is that they're going to do 5 seasons of The Flash and then end it. And because they've confirmed season 4. We have season 4 confirmed. My guess is season 4 is going to be a pretty good season. I would assume that it's going to have season 5 be the crisis. But I'm going to assume that in between, that it's going to be season 4 beginning in probably like December of 2024 or like January. Then after that, it's going to be Superman and Batman and Constantine 2 if they end up doing it. And then eventually they're going to move into then they're eventually going to move into Crisis. And I think it's going to be season 5 of The Flash is going to be the Crisis build-up like Arrow season 8. And then I'm assuming that Flash is going to die in Crisis. That's just my guess. But what I love about this episode is that it finally allows you, this is at the point in the show where it can finally start going back. Now that I'm at this point, it's been over a year since, it's not been a full year yet since season 1, episode 2 aired, but it's been a while. And the show has really grown so much in so many ways. So at this point, it's just so, like, if it makes you feel like, it's like, wow, we're finally going back. And I'm like nostalgic for like a year ago. And I've never had a fan film before that's made me be like, yes, we're finally going back to episode 1, season 1. Oh my God. I've never felt that during a fan film. Like, I was so impressed. Like, wow, I've never really seen a fan film that has done this before, because I've never seen like a fan film first that's gone this long in this many seasons. So I was just like, wow. Like, I was just like, it was so incredible. Like, I loved everything that this, like, the way it did that nostalgia stuff was very good. Talking about the beginning part of the episode, I very much enjoyed it. I loved the way Reverse Flash handled being the Flash. As I've said in many videos, I'm not the biggest fan of Flash Season 8. I think Season 8 is better than a few other seasons, and I also think that Season 8, the Armageddon plot, is actually very strong. And I think probably my favorite episode of all of Season 8 is Season 8, Episode 4, which is the Reverse Flashpoint episode, which is this. And I was so excited to see this, and I'm so happy that they did it. I love the idea of seeing Reverse Flash in this. It was so fun. Like, I love seeing Reverse Flash in this, and he being the Flash is so fun. And I liked seeing Batman and Arrow in this. I also like that we got an episode without them, especially with how much of them we got in episode 4. And I loved this episode, really, that opening part. I loved Barry with Reverse Flash. As for the middle part of the episode, I just didn't love Liam acting with himself, because it was really just like 10-ish minutes of just Liam with himself in scenes. So it was just a lot. And as much as I liked seeing it, it was like cool, but it wasn't anything crazy. So that was, in my opinion, the weakest part, when they had the scene with him with the reverse and then him in the future, in 2020, I mean. And I liked the chase scene through the Speed Force, through time, and I liked him returning to the scene with Stargirl. I will say, I think this episode is very strong, but I'm going to be genuinely honest and say there's not much. Like, as much as I wish I could talk about this episode, and I think there is stuff to be said, I think this episode is just pretty strong, but I think I've said everything I need to say necessarily about this episode. I think the episode does a very good job doing really all the cinematography, the lighting, and all that stuff looks very good. I love Reverse Flash in that. I love the story in this episode. I think it's very strong. And I think my criticisms with it just are for me personally. But I don't think they're necessarily bad, and I think this episode is still, in my opinion, I think probably the second best episode they've ever done. Maybe a little lower, because I liked a lot of episodes in Season 3. But I will say my hopes for Episode 6 are very high. One question I do have at this point is what's happening with Savitar. Like, I don't really get... I understand what Reverse Flash is doing, but I don't really... At this point in the season, I don't get what the finale is actually going to be. Because we know we have to take down Reverse Flash because of what he did with Flashpoint. I understand that. But besides from that, I don't really know what else... Like, at this point, Barry doesn't... Besides from Reverse Flash being a threat, there is no imminent danger to the world. Because we don't really know what's going on with Savitar. He's kind of doing something. We know that Reverse Flash is also doing something. But we don't really know... We don't know very much at this point. So I'm very curious to see what is actually happening in the finale. I hope we get both Savitar and Reverse Flash. That's the biggest thing I want. I hope that I hope that this is the last time we see Savitar and Reverse Flash. Because honestly, as much as I love seeing Savitar, he's been a little bit of a letdown this season. He was very strong in Season 2, but in my opinion, here, he's just not the strongest. So, as much as I wish I could say I want to see more Savitar, I just don't think I can say that with confidence. So I think, hopefully, that we can get good resolutions for Reverse Flash and Savitar. Also, I've been saying this all season, but why can't we see... I hope that we get to see Stargirl not be through a phone. I know that there have been complications, and I understand if they can't do it, but I have been saying all season I want to see Stargirl actually be in the show, and if they do not have her show up in the finale, I don't even know. I understand if they can't, but, like, I really just want to see Stargirl actually appear on screen. Like, it's a really picky thing, but, like, they've been building it up all season. Like, I feel like this should be the finale. Like, this felt like a good season finale. I don't know what they can do in one episode. Unless the next episode's, like, 40 minutes, which I hope it is. But I'm very excited to see what they do in Run. I just don't know how they're going to tie up everything. Because I feel like we've gotten everything tied up. At this point in the season, we have tied up everything with Batman. We have done everything with Oliver. Like, we've done everything with all these characters. We kind of just need to finish it. Like, I feel like all of the threat has been eliminated from everything. So I just don't know what they're going to do for the finale, but I have faith that it's going to be very strong. So I doubt I'm going to make another Crimson production video until Run, and then after that, who knows. But I think that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video and the finale. Bye, guys.